ARCI Durban provides an exclusive rehab treatment for alcoholism and drug addiction. The only rehab in South Africa that offers a medical detox treatment. We offer a superior, evidence-based and medically cutting-edge approach to the treatment of addiction. If you have been frustrated by repeated failures at rehab recovery or are unaware that there are proven anti-craving medications that can significantly improve treatment outcomes, give us a confidential call to learn more about ARCA Durban's rehab program. Contact ARCA Durban on 07827229111 24 hours or call our office number 031-261-5515 and our Johannesburg number on 0622770911. Office number 011-656-0705.
My name is Nelsi Wembata and I'm 33 years old. I'm from Kingindlovu in a rural area. I'm an electrical apprenticeship at Tongati Hewlett. The late Mr. Mzobanzi Kili, who had been working in the local rural area, he told me about the internship at Tongati Hewlett. After inquiring my document, I applied in 2020. For more than 10 years, I've been at home without nothing and it's not easy to find jobs. This opportunity means a lot to me. It changed my life and it restored my self-esteem again and my self-confidence. My family, they are so happy because I'm the first one to get this opportunity. I'm growing a sweet future by inspiring a youth or a young one to study and to reach out. Thank you a lot, Tongati Hewlett, for giving me this opportunity. I'm growing a sweet future.
There can never be enough awareness when it comes to mental health. And with October being the month for mental health awareness, we took a trip down Durban's South Coast where we attended a breakfast discussion on mental health. Joining me today is Jayashri Parusaraman.
Mental health is about our cognitive and emotional well-being. It is just as important as physical health. Mental health does not mean mental illness, although sometimes the term is used in this way. It's best to think about our mental health as existing on a continuum, rather than people being either mentally ill or mentally well. Our mental health exists on a continuum, and we move along the continuum according to various coinciding factors, such as our genetic makeup and upbringing, particular life circumstances, and the pressure we are under at any given time. At one end of the continuum, we have mental illness or ill health, such as depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. And at the other end, we have mental health or mental wellness, when we are thriving, content and fulfilled. We should all aim to recognise and notice changes in mental health and support each other to move along the continuum to return to positive mental health. The World Health Organization describes mental health as a state of well-being in which every individual realizes his or her own potential and can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. Being mentally healthy can include being resilient and able to cope with difficult times, feeling in control, being confident, feeling good about yourself, managing and expressing your emotions, building and maintaining good relationships. We all experience times when we feel under too much pressure, are worried, anxious, sad, afraid or angry. These emotions contribute to our usual state of mental health and are an expected part of our makeup. However, if these emotions are persistent over time and begin to interfere with our ability to do what we could, should, or want to be doing as part of our daily functioning, this could be described as a mental health issue. With the right support, treatment and adjustments, we may well return to a state of restored mental health. Without these things, mental health issues can develop into a mental illness. There are different types of mental illness. These can be diagnosed by a healthcare professional, such as a GP or psychiatrist. A mental illness can significantly impact on a person's daily functioning, interfering with family, interests, social and work commitments, but it doesn't define them any more than a physical illness would. There are many ways we can support someone to understand and manage the symptoms of a mental illness and signpost for the help needed. It's important to pay attention to your own mental health too. It can be difficult to ask for help or to know how to offer support when you're concerned about someone's mental health. This may be due to barriers such as the stigma associated with mental health, lack of understanding around mental illness, uncertainty of how to get help, the fear of disclosing a mental illness to others, or concern about saying or doing the wrong thing. Research shows that stigma remains one of the biggest factors preventing people from raising concerns about their mental health or seeking help early to get the support needed. It is important to remember that just like physical health, we will experience ups and downs in our mental health. It exists on a continuum.
We are here at Blue Marlin Hotel in Scottsboro today. Priya Munsami is our host. She shares her experience that left her shattered. Mental health awareness is close to her heart, and hence the awareness event today. Priya Munsami, welcome to African Essence. Now, mental health issues affect all of us. We laugh, we smile, but inside we are dying. What led to today's event?
Thank you for having me, Jay. Thank you for having me on the show, and I'm so honored and humbled to be here today. So, from my life experiences, I have a passion for mental health because the stresses of life have actually trampled me to the ground. And when I learned that I was dying before I even lived, I had to wake up and go on a search and research how I could improve my health. So, mental health is the beginning and the end of life. There is no health without mental health. So that's what prompted me to do this. And I hear people all the time asking, about mental health, about support groups. They feel this anxiety and there's no answers. So I have undertaken to do this and give everyone a voice and come together to make a change in society today.
Priya, we heard earlier about your loss at a very young age when you lost your husband at the age of 24. I cannot imagine the pain of death, and that led to several mental health issues. You want to share with us a little bit about that?
Yes. So I thought it was okay. He was my best friend, my partner, my kid's dad, and we lived a beautiful life. And suddenly, to be shattered at the trigger of a bullet in seconds, our whole world fell apart. I had to pick up the pieces. It wasn't easy. There was no mental health support out there. The psychologists were expensive, so I couldn't afford all of that. So I researched and I tried to help myself, but I couldn't slow down the anxiety. And it all came down to the stress and the trauma of living through a life event, a critical life event, and battling through it. I had to tussle to find the person that I was losing.
Priya, I cannot imagine the trauma of loss and losing a loved one through tragic circumstances, but also you were diagnosed with cancer after that trauma and losing your husband. Tell us what it felt like, that moment that you were diagnosed with cancer, because at the same time you were already having mental health issues.
Yes, sure. Mental health is so stigmatized in society today. People are labeled and we shy away from mental health. So we need to destigmatize mental health and break the boundaries that society have placed on us. And every one of us face some issue in life. We all face critical events in our lives. So we always want to live up to the norms of society, which is not right. We are perfect by design, and we are taking back and owning that perfection through our life experiences that has derailed us from our perfection, all the life experiences that has traumatized us. How do we reclaim that power is what we are about.
I love the name Perfect by Design, and I love that you've touched on the trauma that we've all gone through in life, and there's so much with regard to recent times like COVID, the unrest, the floods, and everybody else that's fighting their own battles within. Tell us, what advice would you give to our viewers who are facing any mental health issues or who are feeling sad right now?
Well, if you look at the word perfection, it's who we are, perfect. So the word perfect spells P for purpose and passion, E for empathy, R for resolve and resilience. That's who we are. We have resolve and resilience within us. F is for fearless faith, which we have within us. And when we tap into it, we are surprised at what lives inside of us. And E is for engagement. Social networking and social cohesion is very healing. And C is for compassion. We are compassionate human beings. When we hug each other, when we socialize, when we spend time with each other, and when we bring down the barriers and the walls of judgment and criticism that we've built over time, we feel our compassion. And T is for time. We make time for this. If we don't make time for it, we'll never reach our perfection.
That's amazing. Priya, whilst going through mental health, you're having your own issues after the tragic loss of your husband, you was diagnosed with cancer. Tell us, how did you feel at that very moment on being diagnosed with cancer? How did you cope? Take us through that journey of you being diagnosed with cancer and you're already dying on the inside.
Yes, so I am sold out to believing that we all have it within us to heal ourselves. And I believe that my stresses has been the cause of my cancer. Although conventionally believe that cancer is genetic, with the new sciences, we're learning that cancer is stress related. It was a scary journey. And the scariest part of the journey was to know that I was dying before I even lived.
Did you think you'd survive at that point in time? Because I know that sense of scary. I heard it in you when you were addressing your audience. I can see the watery eyes. At that point when you were diagnosed being scared, did you think you're going to make it this far years later?
Definitely not. Because society has taught us, medical science has taught us, that you associate the C word with the D word. So every one of us has the fear of death, no matter how much we think we don't. So I went into severe depression, trying to cope on my own. Because here I had the sciences of understanding how to heal myself, yet I couldn't do it because I was so far gone.
At what stage were you diagnosed with cancer at the time that doctors had given you your diagnosis?
It was stage 3, and it was scary because it was an aggressive type. However, there was something inside of me that said I was strong enough to fight this. But emotionally and mentally, I wasn't able to cope. I went into severe depression. And depression and stress exacerbates any disease. I was scared of the surgery. I was scared of the invasive treatments. But I tell you what, all the stories about chemotherapy never happened to me because I was headstrong and I knew that I will not face any of the side effects of chemotherapy.
And the side effects of chemotherapy, you're referring to hair loss, weight loss, the feeling lethargic, going back into pain and sleeping. Is that what you're talking about?
Precisely.
What did you do to cope with this?
I said to myself and I said to my doctors, whatever the norms of medical science are, I will reverse that. And I promised myself that I will, and I did. I would go for my treatment. The chemotherapy, the red devil, is very invasive. It's the most toxic drug.
Priya, being diagnosed with cancer, and you were already dying on the inside with your own mental health issues on losing your husband. Now you're diagnosed with cancer. What was your will to say, I'm going to fight this? Was it your children, or was that your turning point at that time to say, I need to do something for me, make the time for me to beat the mental health issues and to beat cancer?
Definitely, most definitely. To me, cancer was a gift. Because when I was diagnosed, I learned that I had unhealed trauma, blocked emotions. I didn't deal with Levi's death. Hence, it had to come out somewhere, and it manifested as cancer. So that is why I say all diseases have their roots in emotional and mental health. So when we get our minds right, we get our bodies right. And when our minds are so stressed, we cannot cope. So cells replicate in the body because the entire chemistry has gone wrong. And that is what cancer is. And that is what chronic diseases are. It's no longer considered genetic. I don't have cancer in my family, but I can undilutedly and unapologetically say that my cancer was stress-related because of the blocked emotions and the unresolved trauma that I faced.
Now when you look back, because you've conquered those blocked emotions, the trauma, you've beat cancer, when you look back, what do you think your children were feeling when you were diagnosed with cancer and a mom that was already sad since the death of their dad? Because they probably lost their dad and their mom during that time and you didn't even realize it.
My boys were traumatized. They were very traumatized because I was their pillar of strength. And when they knew mom was dying, I think it broke them. And to watch them break down the way they did, I couldn't handle it.
Was that your motivation?
It was my motivation. And also, remember, having blocked emotions, I had lost myself. And that's who I was looking for. And I was searching for her for so long. This beautiful soul that I lost along the way. I loved her. I wanted to be with her and I wanted to be her. And that for me was my turning point, is first finding myself and presenting myself to my kids, because my kids didn't know who I was. Because mom was dealing with so much of trauma that she blocked the beautiful self. And for me to present myself to my kids, this beautiful 18-year-old with all the passion, the energy, the love, the peace and the joy to share, was the most rewarding gift I could give my kids. And that is my story, Jay.
Did at any point you and your children go for counseling, trauma counseling, or after being diagnosed with cancer, or whilst going through mental health issues, did you think about counseling at that point?
Well, my son had a breakdown. My youngest son had a breakdown because he knew mom was dying. He did have a breakdown. He's sought psychological and psychiatric help. The doctors did take him through, but he's still battling to cope because of the mindset and because of being stuck in emotional blockages and unhealed trauma. He is stuck somewhat. But I trust that with the energy that I exude, that he will heal and come out of this.
And what is your message to our viewers today that inside, there are some that are watching and they are having their own mental issues, they're feeling sad, they're relatable to your story, be it mental health awareness or they're fighting cancer. What is your message to them to cope and to beat these issues?
So with the new sciences we have today of neuroplasticity, of psychoneuroimmunology, of epigenetics, we now know that we can become the scientists of our lives and change the chemistry, change the physiology, change the biology, and heal ourselves of any condition. Once we change our energy, we change our lives. That's the message. We all have it within us. We need to reclaim that power.
Definitely, and I think by changing the energy, Priya, means you've all got to have a positive vibe. Thank you, Priya, for being with us today with African Essence, for sharing this amazing event on mental health awareness and sharing your life's experiences that is definitely going to change the lives of many others going forward.
A C.S. Lewis quote says that mental pain is less traumatic than physical pain. However, it is more common and a lot more difficult to deal with. Concealing this pain only adds to the burden. Some say it's more easier to say I have a toothache rather than I have a broken heart.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Scarborough, a jewel of the South Coast, where we have the whales on show, we have the dolphins on show, we have sardines during the season, and this vibe is so electric. So a very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for being here. I am so honored to have all my highly esteemed guests here this morning. So this morning, it's about you. It's about you going on pause. Let's put our pause buttons on. Pause, relax, reflect, introspect. We have a jam-packed program for you, and we want you to have loads of fun. So no one's cooking, no one's doing dishes, so you're going to relax, okay? Very warm welcome on behalf of Perfect Design and your host Priya Munsami and the hotel management of Blue Marlin. Thank you for taking out the time to be here with us this morning on a very important aspect of the social ills of society, and one that has affected us tremendously since COVID, the unrest and the KZN floods, and so many things that have happened in recent times that has impacted on mental health awareness. Whilst an awareness needed to be created a long time ago around the subject, in recent times it is more than ever needed, and where we need to shed the light, speak up, and not be embarrassed to do so. And you know, today's theme was look good, feel good. I promise you, when I woke up this morning, looked at the weather, I was like, I generally dress up, you know what I'm saying? I go to the nines, I get out the designer outfits, and then I was like looking at the weather and it wasn't working out. But here's what I thought, I still feel good on the inside. And that's a reminder for all of you, because sometimes I could be looking good, I ain't feeling good. So today, rest assured, I feel good, I think I look good. Our guest of honor and speaker, and in no particular order is our speakers, but I'd like to introduce you to lay councillor Sabu Mapamulu. Now let me tell you a little bit about him. He's also got a long CV that needs a wheelbarrow to push it through, with lots of titles and lots of accomplishments. But I thought on sharing a few of the highlights. In 2003, he was part of the Treatment Action Campaign. In 2004, the National Association of People Living and Affected by HIV and AIDS. In 2007, very much involved with the Department of Health. In 2015, the guest speaker on World AIDS Day, SANAC. And in 2016, the ambassador for KZN MEC for Health on various programs that were hosted by the KZN Department of Health. In 2016, special recognition awards for Massey. In 2017, Ukosi Radio Ambassador, Brothers for Life. In 2018, Community Builders Award, and the winner of Emazini Arts Production. Put your hands together for lay councillor at JG Crooks, Sabasiko Mapamulu. And from the looks of it, he's good looking.
So today, I just want to say thank you, Priya, for starting the group. I will support it, and I will still come up and say, this is boom. I'm not ashamed of being HIV positive. I'm not ashamed. I want people to live. I said when I was speaking in one of the events in 2015 in front of our president, Cyril Ramaphosa, he was then a deputy president. I told him I see myself reaching 50 years. I'm 43 today. I want to reach 50 years and beyond, because I want to lead a generation and face my consequences of not being a faithful partner. Because I got HIV because I was not faithful. I was cheating. So it's the price that I have to live with for the rest of my life. So today, I'm wearing this t-shirt to reassure you, Priya, that whatever you started today, this today is the launch. But it was started a long time ago. The launch will now tell people that there is a support group for this and that. Because if you are not mentally fit and mentally positive, your body will decompose while you think you are alive. If your mind is not elsewhere, thinking positive things, you can go to the sea, to the ocean, you can try to swim, but if your mind is not there in what you are doing, you will drown. Being a man is not an easy thing. You have to take the bull by its own. If somebody gives you lemon, chew it, make lemonade. If life throws you anything that is bitter to swallow, make a plan. Thank you so much.
Dr. Paliwe Mazulu Karamba, a God-anchored single mother. I love that.
So mental health is so much more than just absence of mental illness. So just because they've not been diagnosed with any specific mental condition doesn't mean that you don't have mental issues. It is a combination of our emotional, psychological, and social well-being, and it affects every aspect of our lives. How we think, how we feel, and how we act. It influences how we relate to other people, how we deal with stresses in our lives, and whether we make healthy choices or unhealthy lifestyle choices. So it's very important that we attend to our mental issues. So we should have a way of keeping to check, kind of a dipstick, and ask yourself, how are you feeling, and be honest, because trying to stuff things away doesn't really help, because that's how people end up being isolated and being in dark, deep corners, and where they end up committing suicide without any intervention. So it's important that we face our issues and try to deal with them and address them and seek professional help where it's necessary. So I'd like to congratulate Priya for this support group, and we hope that this is the beginning of new things to come. So each and every family has its own issues, but by God's grace, we can all overcome. We are all victorious. So I wish you all the best and everything that is good in life. Thank you.
And we are perfect in God's name. Sure, thank you. That was awesome, guys. We will rock you, we will rock the world. Okay, so, like Jay said, outline my story, hereby 24 years later. Okay? Mental health is my passion. Hello, Dion. Welcome. So glad you made it. Mental health is my passion because of my extreme situation that I faced.
So we are about bringing out the best in you. That is what the support group is about. Okay, so so coming back to my story, I was, like I said, a young widow trying to find my purpose. I had no dream, no vision. And then God blessed me with a job 2 years after Levi had passed away. And I carried on. It was a struggle, and I thought I'm this big superhero that can drop my kids off at school, fetch them, cook lunch for them, and then come home and cook supper, and come during lunch and make sure that they were fine. And they were so spoiled that they didn't even know it. So I carried on, and then I had this terrible anxiety. Sounds familiar? My heart will not stop racing, Lee. It will race, and I can't stop it. And I started to experience terrible fatigue. I would get up fatigued and go to bed fatigued. And I thought it was okay. And I carried on because of my responsibilities. I was giving out of an empty cup. Giving and giving and giving and thinking I was okay. So Mel asked me yesterday, she asked me about my story. And I was sharing my story. So my story is about mental health. And you may ask, why mental health? Mental health matters. There is no health without mental health. It does. When I initially planned this event, I wanted to bring you all to the Blue Marlin, where the playground of the whales, and all the magic happens here. So this happened by an absolute miracle. Okay? So when we move from the place of our humanness into our hearts, we allow the spirit of love to create the miracle, unravel the mystery, and we get to feel the magic of how powerful we truly are. So I thank you all this morning. I think it's still morning. I am so humbled to have every one of you here. And to my amazing team, they've gone out of their way to put together what you see here today. And to Rose, she's gone and got giveaways from all over the nation. And we're so honored. Thank you, Rose, for putting all this together. And every one of our sponsors, this wasn't a one-person effort. It was a team effort. You guys went out of your way to do what you've done, and you've done your best. So I love you all. Let's keep the spirit burning, and let's keep moving. Thank you, Priya. And a bigger round of applause for her, because I know she's been overwhelmed with the support for today.
Klaus said that mental health needs more sunlight, more candor, more unashamed conversations. That is what today's event was about, and we need more like this.
Good day, my name is Sumaya Sediman. I'm from the Jimmy's Killer Prawns brand. I'm from Jimmy's Killer Prawns Westwood Mall and the one in Gateway, the Callisto's Portuguese restaurant in Gateway as well. I'm the co-founder of RNS Trucking, which is with my husband. I was invited to this lovely launch by Priya. I've known her for a short while, which is just over a year, and she's been an inspiration to me. I was really amazed when she went skydiving and she sent me all her pictures and her videos and how excited she was. I think her brand, which was launched today, Perfect by Design, is such a beneficial thing to the community. The event was so successful. Her talk was something else. It almost had me in tears. I think she's such a phenomenal woman, so educated. She's been around, she's been through so much, but still so positive. And when they said something in the event and she said, would you think that this girl, and I just thought, this 18-year-old girl, that's what we're talking. That's the energy she has is of an 18-year-old. It's a lovely brand. I think there's room for huge success, and it's something that's needed in all communities. Thank you for the invite, Priya, and all the best for the future. Thank you. Bye.
Hi, I'm Venice of Baden. I am from Amazon, Texas. Just going on what today actually means is that it's important that we draw attention to, and an event like this draws attention to topics and important aspects of how we communicate and what we communicate, which is an underlying aspect of our social well-being. Okay, our social well-being is entirely based on how we interact, how we respond to people, and that is essentially our inner being. Okay, which is often affected by various aspects within our environment. Okay. Who we associate with, how we respond, those kind of instances and issues. So today kind of actually helps us understand where the social issues come from. And a lot of us, often associate with stigmas and all those kind of parallels. But I think from that perspective, this kind of day kind of is a culmination of a long-standing work that was done by Priya and the team of kind of establishing an event like this that will now culminate into an actual workshop that will treat, not really necessarily treat, but basically draw attention, help people find a way forward. I think my message would be is that the most important thing is to communicate, is to speak up, speak about issues, and workshops like this will actually help you kind of, I know it's often very difficult for people to speak up, especially when it comes to mental health, because, it's unlike when you get hurt or you break a leg or whatever, and you go to the doctor because it's something physical, and you can actually take some sort of medication, amend it. But I think what happens with emotions and those kind of aspects, people don't really know how to get into it and find a way forward as such. And I think coming to workshops like this, involving yourself in, there's many communities out there that have similar type of, it doesn't necessarily mean that if you're here on the South Coast in Scottsboro and we've got a group going here, that you can't join a group elsewhere. If you go and you go into those, you call the numbers, there's quite a few organizations that are similar out there. Join those groups and there will be a way forward for you.
Good day, my name is Nicole Govender. I attended the Perfect by Design launch today. Being an active social media user, I think it's very important to have these support groups around us. Personally, every day on social media we encounter different types of stresses, and it's very important to take into consideration the mental health situations that come behind it. So my message to anyone struggling with mental issues or mental health, anxiety, depression would be attend and support these support groups. They come in handy, and they'll make a difference to you.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, The African Essence Television Show. Follow us on YouTube as well, African Essence Television. And don't forget, you can also tune into our new sister show, Dining and Vibing in South Africa. Goodbye and God bless.
Igama lami ngugogo Virginia Dlamini. Ngingumlimi omdala womoba kwaHulethe eKZN. Ngineminyaka ewu-91. Ukulima umoba kade kwaba ingxenye yempilo yami. Ubaba wayelima umoba, nomfowethu wayelima umoba, nami futhi ngilima umoba. Ngibona abesifazane abaneminyaka ewu-60 besebenzisa izinduku, kodwa ngisakuthanda ukudansa nokuhleka eminyakeni yami. Vele ngisazizwa ngimuhle. Umphakathi nawo ubalulekile kakhulu kimina. Ngichitha isikhathi ngisiza umphakathi ngezingxabano zomhlaba kanye nokuphatha amalungu ethu esibambisene nawo. Ngifundisa ingane zesikole nomphakathi wonke ngokubaluleka ngokunakekela umhlaba wethu. Kuyangizuzisa uma ngibona abanye bekwemukela ukunakekela umhlaba wethu. Kuyangizuzisa kakhulu uma ngibona abanye bekwazi ukubona umthelela omuhle ezolimo ezinawo ezimpilweni zabo. Ngiyazifela ngomhlaba wethu, ngiyazifela ngomphakathi wakithi, ngizifela ngokukhulisa ikusasa elimnandi.
The south coast of Durban is known for its pristine coastline, beautiful blue beaches, lush forests, and hidden gems. It's become the holiday destination for tourists and locals. Positioned in Scottsboro is the Blue Marlin Hotel, another fantastic destination to visit. Attentive staff with smiles all round make for a guaranteed pleasurable experience. Delicacies catered from either their a la carte or lavish buffet menus are sure to tantalize and satisfy. The accommodation boasts nothing but the best for a luxurious overnight stay, and here at the Blue Marlin Hotel, you are sure to receive that experience.
ARCA Durban provides an exclusive rehab treatment for alcoholism and drug addiction. The only rehab in South Africa that offers a medical detox treatment. We offer a superior, evidence-based and medically cutting-edge approach to the treatment of addiction. If you have been frustrated by repeated failures at rehab recovery or are unaware that there are proven anti-craving medications that can significantly improve treatment outcomes, give us a confidential call to learn more about ARCA Durban's rehab program. Contact ARCA Durban on 078-2722-911 24 hours or call our office number 031-261-5515 and our Johannesburg number on 0622-770-911. Office number 011-656-0705.